All right, what's good, everybody? We are 30 minutes behind schedules. Apologies for that, but this is Chronicle News for the Chronicle Network, and you are watching Idle Chatter, episode 1. If you're new to the channel and how this works, well, the first thing we do is go ahead and I'll look at the community tab and see what I missed in case there's anything else. So the floor is open for questions the entire time. All right, see if I missed anything noteworthy. We have a Toa photo. Go ahead and put a halt on the good vibes. There we go. Let's see. All right, we have the Toa Harada photo. I don't think I missed anything on that one. We have a poll that we held with the just it was opinions of Idle Chatter. Okay, seems like everybody liked it. Some people think it needed more Toa. One person was like, meh, I expected that. You know, I was gonna be at least that one meh type of response. It's kind of like what happened with the whole Phantom Mirage thing. Only it was a whole lot more meh. Nothing noteworthy there. Akaringo. Okay, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of community interaction this week. That's good. That's good. Okay, yeah. I'm scrolling back into next week if I do that. Okay, I know last week we were talking about just how the different idols were performing, and I know some people may feel like I was being a little too harsh on Lucky Lucky, which I had was not my intention. That's not what I was going for. But I was just pointing out the fact that they were missing a couple things, and that's why we're talking about NiziU this time. It's a perfect example of how to do an idol group. Well, I guess before getting to NiziU and why they're doing so well, I should probably skip forward to the second topic, which is well, I guess this is my first topic, which is what makes idol groups sell in the first place. Like if you take it back, Mino, hello, how's it going? If you take it back to like the beginning of like idol groups, when they first started, like idol groups were popular door rotating groups, whatever they want to call them. If you take it all the way back to the originals with like the Onaku Club, which is like the first one I can think of that had that going on. Idol groups have always had their main audience be a male audience, as just the way it is. Like that's why they had all the posters. That's how they started doing the whole photo books things. That's how they started doing the posters. That's how they ended up started doing the swimsuit things. That's what people consider controversial for some reason. They have always aimed at a male audience. That has always been their thing. And as time went on, they changed. You've seen more idol groups that didn't do that. But those ones are like hit or miss when that happens. Either they gotta be insanely talented or they kind of flop. It's like the whole thing I was saying about male idol groups do better because they can't rely on their looks, so they have to be talented. Yeah. So Lucky Lucky at least they never did that because when they first were made, they were first Lovely Lovely, and the whole thing was tying, and their whole audience was always like preschool, kindergarten, elementary level kids. I get that. And then it became Lucky Lucky. You had the same audience again. Now that those Magical Girl shows are over and that audience is probably older now, they tried to do what I call the Nintendo thing, right? Whereas, everyone knows Nintendo. They were like, okay, here's Pokemon, here's Mario. You grew up with them, and now as you're older, you keep on playing them. Well, some people stuck around, like I stuck around like that. I know a lot of people that were like, okay, they're not making stuff for me anymore. And they found other choices, which is what probably happened with a lot of those kids who grew up watching the Girls Heroine series. They liked them, then they got older, and they're like, okay, they don't make anything for me anymore. And appealing to a male audience doesn't just mean, again, photo books and fan service and all that type of stuff. There's like multiple ways to do it, which segues into the whole NiziU thing. See, NiziU does it because, for one, they are managed by J.Y. Park. They have a Korean manager. That's a rare thing and a super advantage that they have. Like, anyone who knows me knows I'm not a fan of K-pop. I used to be back in the day, but I'm not a fan of K-pop how it is now. Never liked it. Never, probably never will like it again because I don't see them going back to the way they used to sound. But one thing I have to give them their props for is that they know how to market and they know how to push their groups out there and get more eyes on everything. They know how to do that. That's their specialty. That's why it just so happened that a J-pop group headed by a Korean manager who's used to doing K-pop groups is the one that's like breaking these records and going on the Korean award shows and winning and stuff. Because J.Y. Park knows what he's doing. I believe it was with Upgoon. We were discussing it in the World Wednesday Season 2 finale. We were discussing how one thing that is very apparent is like when they add English lyrics to songs. You have English lyrics to songs on a J-pop song. It's like something like "Girls, Girls." You get weird stuff like "Welcome to my party, shake it to my body," like "Chulu Choo Choo." What is that? What does that even mean? What in the world is "Welcome to my party, shake it to my body"? That doesn't really make sense. Meanwhile, with NiziU, when they speak English in their songs, it's actually good English that makes sense. And it also helps the fact that they have Rima. They have Rima and Nina that both speak very fluent English. And so they kind of check with them. Like, I don't get how there are even some groups handled by other J-pop entities. Like, Hello Project has Miki no Naka, who was born, well, she wasn't born and raised, but she was raised down south in Alabama. She knows English very well. And some of the stuff that flies in these songs as a English sentence, she doesn't stop and pull them to the side like, hey guys, this doesn't really make sense to English viewers, English listeners. They're gonna be like, what are you doing? No one ever says anything. They just let them fly with it. Like there are multiple times where it's just shown that they don't really know English in other groups. Like some of the shirts that Akari Umura got caught wearing on Juice Juice. Like she had one that just had like profanity just across the shirt. They took it down, but it's still circling around the internet. I tried to find it so I could post it again one more time because it was a shirt with a heart on it, but it just had like Samuel Jackson's favorite word, mother. I ain't gonna say it, but just the MF word, just with a big heart around it. And I'm like, they let that fly because they didn't know that you don't say that. That would never happen. You would never see Riku, Rima, Nina, Ayaka, Mayuka. You never see any of them. Mihi, none of them like just with a shirt like that says that and nobody spell checks it. Won't happen. I like they thought the lyrics in Japanese but used English words to express it. Yes, that's exactly. They thought the lyrics in Japanese but they used English words to express it. I think it's the reverse with the other companies, I think they think of the English first. They just think, oh, what sounds cool, and they try to run with it, and it doesn't exactly work that way. And see, again, the reason why NiziU is blowing up because they have the good marketing. They have a more global appeal because English is the most widely spoken language, so they got that part right. With JY Park and the other Korean managers doing it, and then they know who to target to. And this is what I mean when I say idol groups have always been targeted towards a male audience. Now, while NiziU is not out there doing photo books and fan servicey stuff and throwing around pictures of like Rayma in a bikini, good lord, I can't believe I just said that. I just put that thought in my head. But no, they don't have to give out pictures of like Rayma in a bikini or anything like that to appeal to a male audience. That's not always what that means. Is that first of all, they got what was most important out the way first. If you watch the NiziU project or whatever it was called, that show how they chose each one of them, J.Y. Park is serious about his. He makes sure he has people that can sing because looks fade eventually. So all of them were like super talented with the singing. All of them are super talented with the dancing. All of them have like really bright, vibrant, lovable personalities. Like all of them have what I call the whole package when it comes to what idols should have. Like any given member of NiziU you pick could basically lead the group and be like the star of the show. He figured it out, and I'm like, that's the way he was to do it. So that they have the whole package of everything they need on top of the looks. Now, alongside having all that talent, to help with that, yeah, all of them are like, that is probably one of the most visually appealing idol groups there is. All of them are just ridiculously pretty. So that helps as well with like appealing to like a male audience. Like the way they dress. Some like one of the fan cams on the Heartress. There was a lot of things with Heartress. They did like a fan cam with just they focused on Rayma on one part. I know they did it with everybody, but one of the fan cams for Rayma, you can just see the way she like just appeals to the crowd. Like as I call it, I don't know if there's a real word for it, but I always call it priming, where you're interacting with the fans, you're making sure they're part of the you're making sure they're like part of the whole performance. You see someone in the crowd like waving at you or doing something, you're noticing them and you're interacting and you're playing off of that to build the energy up. Remo was doing a fantastic job at that. I'm like, that is how you appeal to your male audience. Like she was doing the cutesy faces and everything that the male audience would like. And she was, I saw her visually scanning the crowd and picking people out and interacting with them. I'm like, yes, they got that. Now, in a group like something like Lucky Lucky, the other person I know that is good at doing that is Tsubaki. Baki is great at scanning the crowd and noticing like audience like that, or priming the crowd as I call it. Baki is awesome at that, and Kana would probably be like second at that. But that's part of the main reason why they're doing as good as they're doing, because they have the whole talent thing down and they know who their audience is. Like, and it's not just Lucky Lucky or groups like that, so I'm not picking at them, but there are certain groups that you can tell are trying to be aimed predominantly at like strictly a female audience, or trying not to be aimed at that traditional audience that idols originally were aimed at, going as far back to the Yaku Club, and they aren't doing too well. It's kind of like if I were to be a game developer, and I know no matter how people want to complain about it, yes, things have changed and there's more of them now. And I'm going to be a game developer, and I keep saying I'm going to aim strictly at girls. I will not make anything for the guys. I will complain if I have guy fans. My game is more likely to flop than any other one, because I've cut my audience down drastically by doing that, by just cutting off the male audience. That it's a male dominated medium. It just is. Like you have more male audience there. You have a bigger net to cast if you appeal to both, or even if you appeal to just males, you have a bigger net to cast. So if you have a new group that's up and coming, you don't want to start off handicapping yourself by like shrinking down who you can be appealing to. You don't want to do that. Like, again, going back using Lucky Lucky as an example, what happens if all those girls who grew up watching Love Katrina, Cure Mickey Powers get older and decide, yeah, I don't want to be a fan of them anymore? Then you end up with a group that starts to kind of wane and lose its identity and have to like pivot and change who they are in the middle of things, which I do believe is what's going on with Lucky Lucky. They're trying to pivot and change the identity of who they are in the middle of things, because at this point they're like, okay, we don't have this to fall back on. We can't sell your toys anymore. We can't sell your batons and whistles and whatever anymore. We have to like change the identity. Like, again, like I said on the last episode, they don't have that it song. They don't have that defining moment for them that says who they are, because they don't know who their audience is anymore. I feel like, who is their audience? I don't even know. I've been following. I know I'm a member of that audience, but I don't know who that main audience is, because now that the Magical Girl shows are gone, who is that main audience they're aiming at? It's a bit weird because you have 60-year-olds and 10-year-olds in the same event. Yeah. I would argue though that most of the 60-year-olds were like bringing their kids. Again, that's why I keep using the Nintendo example. Everybody and their mama knows Pokemon. It's the biggest multimedia franchise in the world. But even though I know a lot of adults that get super excited when a new Pokemon game is announced, and you see it all on Twitter and everything, and it's just like going crazy, like, oh my God, Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. We do know at the end of the day, it is trying to aim at kids. It's just, it has that whole Phantom Mirage girls heroines thing going on, where you have like people who are like 30, 40, sometimes even 50 who are like hyped up and getting a new Pokemon game. But you know, even with the dialogue in the game and how it's set up, they are aiming predominantly at kids. So it's hard to say. So it's obvious who that audience is with Pokemon. Like, the audience is kids, but the quality, agree or disagree with it, the quality is what the older fans like of it, so they still enjoy it. Whereas, though I love the Girls Heroine series, and I still think Magic Pure is just a good show, period. Love Katrina. Yeah, and then the two shows that are Lucky proves my point. Okay, Miracle Tunes. I can see it as being a good show, period. Magic Pure is just a good show, period. Phantom Mirage is probably the weakest of those three, but still just a good show, period. Love Katrina is where, as I said in my review, it's a lot of loud noise and screaming, and you can tell they're just doing goofy, wacky stuff to make kids laugh. So once you're older and you're not a kid anymore, you're probably not going to find that interesting and entertaining. Cure Mickey Powers. Better than Love Katrina. Way better than Love Katrina at that. But a far, far cry from the quality that was Miracle Tunes, the quality that was Magic Pure, the quality that was Phantom Mirage. Again, it just seems a lot younger. Now, I don't know how Star did viewership-wise, but I think that was a step in the right direction, because compared to the other shows that they were doing, I feel like Star kind of seemed like it was aimed at a slightly older audience, at least like a teenage audience at least. And clearly it had some male fans out there. I mean, they even added in I can't think of their names, the ones who played Shota and Ren. They added in two boys. And again, the whole vibe of the show, it just had this cool vibe to it. It was like a cool show. Like, I can easily see that being like at the time it was out, maybe seen as like one of the cool shows. I don't think anyone would get mocked for watching that when it was like on air. I feel like if it was like a teenage boy who watched Reason Star and he told his friends about it, they'd be like, "Oh, cool! I want to see what that is," and they'd probably check it out. I don't think a teenage boy watching Love Katrina would have had such a warm reception. He probably got mocked a little bit and said he likes kid shows. Keira Knightley and Miracle Tunes are 5 years apart. A lot changed between those years. Yeah, a whole lot changed in between those. Even though Keira Knightley is my favorite and has my all-time favorite hero with Kira Power Sunny, and that's not just of the series. It's like of all heroes, including Marvel, DC, and all that. Kira Power Sunny is literally my favorite hero of all time now. 5 years apart, a lot changed. So, but I think the reason why they aren't doing that kind of goes into my third thing I really want to touch on. Miracle was pure Sakuga, while Keira Knightley was aimed for kids, not really getting compromised with any genre. At least that's how it felt to me. I can understand that. I do think that part of the reason why groups like and it's not just girls like LDH has other groups. Ice Cream is doing very well. That's a female group they have. Ice Cream is doing pretty good. It's not just them, because it happens in Hello Project. It happens in a couple of indie groups that I've seen kind of fizzle out. The whole not knowing your audience thing hurts them, and because of like toxic fandoms can run off people all the time. There are some toxic fandoms, especially in the West. There are some toxic fandoms. I'm not gonna say it ran me off, but it definitely kind of cheapened my experience and dulled my enjoyment coming across like some really, really toxic fans that won't just let you enjoy something for the reason that you enjoy it. As I've said multiple times, everybody likes idols for different reasons. I do not care why you like an idol that I like. If you are a fan of an idol that I like, that's good enough for me, because that means that idol has more support. I always use the example of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie with this, where it's like, I know everybody in the theaters, when I went and watched it, were not fans of Sonic for the same reason that I was a fan of Sonic. Did I care? No. All I cared is that, A, I've wanted this since I was a kid. They finally made a movie of it, and now a lot of people are showing up in droves to watch this Sonic movie. They're giving them support. Now we got a second one. They gave it support again. Now there's a third one coming. That means it's doing good. I don't care why they're there. I'm just glad they are there. So why are there fandoms where there's like infighting and they're mad at fans saying you're not a real fan because you like them because of this or you like them because of that? I don't care if someone is like only following idol groups because they think they look pretty. Or only following idol groups because I don't know. It could be something dumb, like they're like ones that have the cutesy personality, so they want everybody to be like Kari Matsumoto from Fruit Zipper. Just whatever the reason, I don't care. As long as they're following, supporting the group, buying CDs and products and everything to keep the revenue going, to keep the group alive. I don't care why. I really don't. As long as it's not just something completely unethical, I do not care why they're a fan of that group. But some people you have doing that. Like, I know one fandom in particular, I don't know how they are now. I haven't really paid attention in a while. It was like the Hello Project fandom. There is, circling back to who the main audience has been for artists for the longest, have been men. But there are, in the Hello Project fandom, it seems like they think it's a problem or you have some kind of hidden agenda if you're like me. And you're just a heterosexual male who likes idols. They think there's a problem. Like, he only likes them because he thinks they're pretty, or he only likes them because he's attracted to them physically, which is not the case. And it breaks their argument when I keep pointing out that my favorite idol is actually Manny Sakaguchi, which is a guy. So if that was the case, for that to be true, that had to be true in all cases, which means every idol I like would have to be an idol I like only because of how I think they look. I'm not over here drooling and falling out and going, oh my God, Manny Sakaguchi. I'm not, that's not me. I just think the guy is very talented, coolest guy in the room, and he does like the male idol thing perfectly. That's it. But you have toxic fandoms that run people off. I remember introducing somebody to one of those Hello Project fandoms, right? And you don't find Mandy attractive. For me personally, no. I'm not blind. I can see he's a good-looking guy who probably have some women acting up, but it don't do it for me because I don't look at dudes like that. But I mean, I know the dude ain't ugly, so. But I had fandoms and discords of like Hello Project that I would introduce people to, like back with the Intelligent Podcast, before Current Echo Network and the new name of Current Echo Near. Some of them tried to argue that they ran me off and forced me to change my name. Like, oh no, I changed the name for rebranding. I've been on YouTube for off and on 15 plus years. I don't have the same name that I started off with YouTube. That's what it's called, rebranding. The very first name was like Pokemon Guy X. Yeah, people don't even remember that one. That was just a part of the rebranding until it eventually became AW Brawler. And I made the joke that you cannot spell Ayaka Wada without AW, like AW Brawler. You can't spell Ayaka Wada without AW was my running joke. Because like I introduced a lot of people to Ayaka Wada. They didn't know who the heck that was. They didn't know who Anjamu was. They didn't know any of that. I was just up there talking about it. There were people that I knew in real life that I was working with at the time. There were people who found out about them online and they seemed interested in them. And me trying to be a good host for the fans, introduced them to these discords, and they got there and the people just started hounding them and attacking them and claiming they were fake fans or fans for the wrong reason and ran them off. That's not how you grow a fandom, by being toxic like that. And I do think to a certain degree that these Japanese companies that are looking at it, looking at like things in the U.S. or overseas or other countries, do look at the fandoms and how they react, and they probably do notice that there is an overwhelming, especially in the K-pop industry, in the West, in the K-pop industry, there's an overwhelming amount of just toxicity, and they probably see that and they probably notice it and be like, okay, we don't want to do this because if we do this, we'll get bad press overseas, and then they probably won't like us. If we do that, we'll get bad press overseas, and they won't like us. Like they probably look at that and notice that they expect everybody to be either a girl or definitely not a heterosexual man. They assume with some fandoms that you are, if you're a male and a fan, they assume that you're probably gay, bi, or something else that's not straight. They always assume that, and I'm like, that's not the case. Like I know to a lot of people who don't watch my channel and don't even know I have a channel, who just see me in real life, they'll probably never guess what kind of music I listen to. In fact, they never get it right. I mean, I get it. I don't look like the person who's walking around blasting, twirling rin-tun-tun in my ears when I have my headphones on. I get it. I don't look like what they're expecting. You know, I'm not. It's not like I'm walking around with like cutesy bracelets on and pink bow reds and wearing frilly dresses. Like nothing screams this guy's an Idol fan until I mess around and hit play on my phone and my Bluetooth isn't synced right and they hear like a part of twirling rin-tun-tun, like, oops, and I gotta stop it. And they're like, hey, what was that? Hey, what do you listen to there, buddy? Like, I get it. Because of the image of what an Idol fan looks like that has been created in the West, I don't match that image. Even if you look at YouTube and you look at reaction videos, and how people are reacting to idol content. Most of those people doing the reaction fans don't look like me. They just don't. Like I don't know the word. I don't know the word to describe it. I guess it's a. I don't know. I guess he said I'm a bit unconventional because I don't have the laser light, the laser pins, the little bandana tied around my head. I'm not just not doing it to the Miku love and joy dance. I don't fit the stereotype. There we go. I don't fit the stereotype of what they think an idol fan should look like. And I do think those companies are looking at that. And I know they're looking at how toxic the K-pop community could be. Like they'll instigate and pick fights for no reason. It's like if you don't like their favorite, then you're trash and they hate you. I mean, the K-pop toxic fans were so toxic. A couple of years back, who's it? Sully from oh man, I used to love that group back in the day. They had Amber and FX. They had Amber. Amber was like my favorite in that group. And the whole thing, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but we all know what happened to her. She kind of did away with herself, and because of the pressure and the fans and just how everybody was just hounding on her. And I'm like, when a fan base gets that toxic to where it even affects the members and they see how it is like that, that's really bad. So I just feel like just fandoms in general just need to chill with that. They just really need to chill and just stop being just hounding these idols like this and hounding the idol fans. If you're a fan of it, good, great. But if you get to the point where you're hounding the idols and the fans so much that people are literally just hitting delete on themselves, you gotta take a step back and ask yourself, what are you doing? It shouldn't be that serious to you. And I think maybe that's part of what certain groups like LDH is doing with Lucky Lucky. I think that's what some of them are trying to avoid, is having a toxic fan base. Now, I can definitely give them a thumbs up for that they have they probably have the least toxic fan base I can think of. I've never seen a fan of Lucky Lucky that I would call toxic. I've never seen a fan of Girls that I would call toxic. Like the LDH, GL2 family, they have like the most inviting fandom ever. Like when I first showed up to the fandoms in the different discords, I didn't know anything halfway about OHA. I didn't know anything halfway about the shows. And it was obvious I was a rookie and didn't know anything. And nobody was like getting upset about it. They was like, okay, he's new. Well, look, have you seen this show? Well, let's check out Miracle Tunes. Have you seen Magic Magic Pures? Let's check this out. Well, oh, have you heard this song? That's where it's supposed to be. Not mocking somebody because he just started, he's a new fan, he doesn't know anything. No. And at some point, everybody doesn't know. And at some point, everybody is new. That's totally fine. They're taking it that seriously is what they think is part of being an idol fan. No. I don't know why they feel that way, but it's not. Only thing part of the fandom is that you are supporting the groups, you are buying their products, you are, even if you're not buying a lot of products, you buy one CD, go to one concert. That still is a fan because you're supporting one. I had someone argue me down during my falling out with the toxic Hello Project fan base. I was saying that I'm pretty sure, because I said I'm pretty sure that if I stopped being a fan, as opposed to whoever it was, I said if I stopped being a fan, though they won't notice me because I'm one person, they will probably notice me before they'll notice you because you're one person who pirates stuff and don't even watch their stuff. It's because I was pirating everything, and I had at several times like bought several CDs and gave them away and went to several concerts and everything. Again, I'm just one person, but when I stop, though they won't notice me either, if they were to notice like a small fan, I'm pretty sure they would notice me, someone who bought multiple copies and was spreading the fandom, leaving their fan base before they notice somebody who just is an outsider looking in and pirating everything. So I'm like, and I said, that still doesn't make me any more of a fan than you do, or than you are, or any less of a fan. We both are fans, but I was just pointing it out because they're trying to say they're trying to say I'm not a real fan. I said, if that's not a real fan who's buying all their stuff in multiple copies, what the heck is? They're taking it way too serious. But that's why I feel like I've always liked indie idols more. And I'm loving the indie idol scene right now. Like, I don't know if you've seen the most recent reaction video. The most recent reaction video on the channel is an idol. I guess we can call her an idol now. An idol that I've been following for, 2 years now, almost 3. Yuri is making music now. I first ran across her on TikTok. I don't even know how, to be honest with you. I don't, because I have like the whole thing programmed to only show me idol content because I cannot deal with the usual just crude humor and all around stupidity that is floating around on TikTok sometimes. It's my least favorite platform. It is very just crude humor and whatever. But I guess because I was following idols, they recommended Yuri to me. And Yuri's doing music now. And she's reminding me what I like so much about indie idols. They're free to do whatever they want to do with their music. And they get to experiment and just see what sticks. Like, you'll see that more with like indie groups. Like, if you have like a big group that you like and you notice that they're going downhill, then it's not that they're blind. They know when they're going downhill. They know it. But they have to do what the management says and what the management tells them to do. And I'm pretty sure some of them know, like, I'm pretty, I can't think of the name of that group now. I'm drawing a blank. Fudanjuku was a group that I used to listen to. Fudanjuku. Their whole thing was that they kept doing the thing where they would like cross play. They were girls, but they were like just up like male high school students and do like stage plays and their songs and videos they play off of that. And it was a really cool concept and I loved it. I thought it was pretty cool. But they started going downhill and they noticed that the gimmick was kind of dying out of the whole cross playing, pretending to be male high school students and doing little gimmicky skits and plays and music videos. They noticed the gimmick was dying down. But management kept wanting to do that. And now all of them were really good singers in Fudanjuku, really good dancers, but they couldn't stop doing the whole ha 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 we're high school guys gimmick because that's what management want. And they were looking at it like, this isn't working. Can we switch it up? Can we just sing with our normal look? People like our voice now. We got their attention, and they're kind of tired of the whole gimmick. Can we stop doing it? No, they couldn't. Whereas with indie idols, you don't really have like a management doing that. You might have one person who is a manager who's just making sure you don't do anything too outrageous, but you have a lot of range. Like, again, look at Yuri, who had I don't know what she calls that first song. I think it's called just Heart 111 or something like that, with the song, the hot tub, the song. I don't know if you ever heard that song she does. I'll have to post it in the links probably. It's like very cutesy, anime like just the most cutesy thing ever. And now her second video is arguably controversial because she's like poking fun at like salarymen and how they just drool over idols and throw their money at them, which is kind of what the video is depicting. Like, there's a part where she's like sitting on the back of this old balding salaryman and like taking his money and they're like waving money at her and everything, and it's different. It's very different from her first video. But because she's indie, she's able to make that. Like, you just know there would never be a video like that with NiziU. You just know there'd never be a video like that with girls, with like them mocking and teasing like old balding salarymen. They wouldn't do that. They would feel like they're attacking their audience probably. They wouldn't. You just know they wouldn't do that. But with the indie idol, you can get away with it because it just is an idea. The only idol I can think of that was controversial on purpose and did pretty good was Ano. The controversial idols what she was known for. Ano did it all the time because that was her thing. She was known for having a rough way of speaking and not being your traditional idol. She was that was part of her gimmick was being the unconventional idol. Like I know there was a lot of times she was on like these variety shows where they had to like speak in English and say stuff, and when she couldn't think of anything, she was quick to scream "Shut up!" Like it was one. I know it was one thing. She was like trying to. She was supposed to be trying to check into a hotel using only English, and she didn't know how to say it. And so when she couldn't think of the words, and the guy was like, "What do you want?" She would just scream, "Shut up! Shut up!" and tell him to shut up. And it was again her being crass and rough around the edges and rude is part of her gimmick, and she knew that, and she made it work for her. But just because something works for one person does not mean it works for everybody. So there are some that can do that, but when you are tied down to doing things a certain way because of management, they can drive you into the ground. Like to be honest, I think management is like not too good. First of all, my opinion, but very, very strong opinion, Momohime Kiyono is the absolute best voice that they have in the entirety of the Hello Project system of idol groups at the moment. Yet they don't use her like I use her voice like I think they should. They've kind of relegated her more or less to being like comic relief. And beyond, all of their songs are kind of gimmicky, but it's a gimmick that's not working. Like every time I peek back in and see what they're doing is something gimmicky. Like they had I can't even think of the name of the song. They had the one about the curry and the spicy food, and they had like chef outfits on. They had another one where they were like dressed like a train conductor and stewardesses and stuff. Like the whole thing is they cosplay like random people throughout their videos. They cosplay and dress up to play the role of these parts. So it's almost like Fudanjuku all over again. It's like, hey, we're gonna dress you up in quirky outfits, and you're gonna pretend to be these characters. Why? Why? Vocally, they have some of their best talent, and they're not using them. Instead, they're like, oh, we're gonna have you dress up in goofy outfits and do goofy stuff. That's a case of trying to add a quirk when you don't need it. You're adding sugar to honey pancakes at that point. It's already sweet. You don't need any more sugar. What are you doing? They're trying to. If you already got something that works, you don't need to ignore your selling point and come up with a gimmick. Some idol groups need a gimmick, yes. Some don't. Again, Fruit Zipper. I don't think anybody is writing home about Fruit Zipper for being vocally just amazing. I don't think anyone's doing that. Though some of them probably, but if I'm thinking of just like really, really great groups vocally, Fruit Zipper doesn't come to mind. No, their whole thing is that, like, my reason for liking Fruit Zipper, I am, as I say, a connoisseur of cute things. And they are one of the cutesiest groups ever. Like, I love groups like that with big, flowy, frilly dresses with all the just cutesy over-the-top outfits and the cute gestures and Kara Matsumoto. That's a reason enough. That is one of the cutest idols I've ever seen. I'm a connoisseur of cute things. I like cute creatures. I like cute idols. I like Kirby's and Eevees and stuff. I just love cute things. I guess I like cute things because I feel like, hey, look, there's enough bad and negative things to complain about in the world. So if I just surround myself with cute things, I can just ignore and block all of that out and just see the good side of life, the happy parts, the cute stuff, the stuff that makes me smile. And that's part of why I like idols so much, because cute things remind me that, hey, it's not all bad all the time. So that's probably why I like Fruit Zipper and why I like idols in general. So yeah, just I like cute things, and that's their appeal. Their appeal is that we're cutesy, and again, they don't do photo books or fan service, but they're still appealing to a male audience too. With the, oh look, we're cute, but that also works with girls because girls like cute too. So Fruit Zipper has their thing figured out. But you don't have to like turn to a gimmick when you don't need it, when you're already vocally talented enough. Like, again, I know I keep circling back to Lucky Lucky because I'm really trying to figure out what they're doing, and they have neither a gimmick nor, to the best of my knowledge, the talent to pull it off. Like, you gotta have one at this point. Their gimmick was superhero shows and or tokusatsu shows, or whatever you want to call the girls' heroine series. That was their gimmick. That gimmick is over. They ended it on Christmas Day of all things, which I question why. Why they went Merry Christmas, no more shows. That wasn't the best way. Or was it the 26th in Japan at the time? No, it was Christmas. It was Christmas in Japan at the time. Yeah, it was like, hey, Merry Christmas. We're finished with this. That was their gimmick. It was a good gimmick, and it worked. Their gimmick was, we are the stars of this show. I'm very worried about them. LDH isn't giving them anything substantial. I don't think they know what to do with them. I really think LDH does not know what to do with them at this point, because, again, Ice Cream works because Rui vocally is phenomenal. Yuna vocally phenomenal. Hinata vocally phenomenal. Lucky Lucky, while I know that they're best two vocally, I know who their best two vocally is, but if I ask anybody else, I probably won't get the same answer because it's debatable. It's very debatable. It's not like obvious, but I feel like their two best vocally is Yura is easily their number one for me, and number two would be Akari. Akaringo has a really unique voice that stands out, but I noticed in songs they don't really give her a whole lot of solo lines, but she has that Tomoko Kanazawa thing from Juice Juice, where Tomoko, you know her voice when you hear it. Like, to this day, I could turn on J1 radio and hear a random song, and Tomoko Kanazawa could be in it, and I would know instantly. I'd be like, hey, that's Tomoko. Easily unmistakable voice. Akari Mori has that kind of voice, but they don't really use her. But really, who is the best vocally in Lucky Lucky? We don't know. Lucky Lucky had potential in the Kirameki era. That was the best time to do something with them, and they wasted it. They relied too much on the TV show. They really did. It's like during that time, they were on Oha and everything. And that was a very short-lived Oha run. Like, even had the summer days where they were off for like a couple of weeks. So they weren't on the show and they weren't doing anything. It seemed very, very... Akari is beautiful. She can be a model and actress and dancer, but they don't do anything. And so, exactly, like, for me, this is why I separate idols into three types. Love it or hate it, agree or disagree with it, I feel like every idol falls into one of three categories. And obviously with Lucky Lucky being younger, one of the categories don't apply to them. So they fall under either cute or cool, because I have the categories cute, cool, sexy. So they fall under cute or cool in the younger groups. And they're trying to, they're basically trying to shove a square into a circle shaped hole there. It's just, Akaringo is one of the cool types. and they're trying to force her into the cute type. And I'm like, no, no. As much as I just love her as an idol, and she's become one of my favorites, which is funny because at the time of World of Wednesday season 2, I mentioned she's my least favorite member of the group at that time. But now she's probably like number 3 easily because it's Tsubaki, Lena, and then Akaringo. They're trying to make her do the cutesy thing, and I'm like, no, she's not a cute type. She's a cool type. Everything she does is just, it's cool. She just has this cool girl vibe to her, and that's why it looks wrong when she's doing the Lucky Lucky Love dance. That's too goofy looking for her. Instead of looking cute, it comes off looking goofy. Like, I mean, I can freaking hear just Goofy from Disney. Oh, you gosh, when she's like doing that dance. I'm like, no, that is not. I don't want her to look goofy like gosh, Lucky Lucky Love. No, we're not doing that. Instead, when she did the Psychic Fever dance to the song, just like that, which is one of my favorites. Like, when I heard that song from Psychic Fever, just like that, when I saw the dance, and I was teaching myself how to do it, I remember going, hey, wait a minute. This is kind of hard. I'm still kind of struggling on some parts of that. I'm going to post a video eventually when I get it down. A side-by-side comparison of how I do it versus how Akaringo does it. And there was one part in particular, the first idol that just randomly popped in my mind when I'm sitting there tired and sweating and out of breath going, oh God, this dance is hard to learn, is I thought to myself, what if Akaringo did this one? She's really good at dancing. What if she did this? Like, she is clearly the cool type, and they're trying to make her do cute, and it comes off very, very weird. Then you have Yua. Yua fits into both. Yua fits into both. Clearly, Yua fits into the cute category easily. I mean, Yua is like really cute. You can't not notice her. She's cutesy. She has what I call that cute energy. And when she walks in the room, you just gotta stop like, hey, cute. But Yua has that cool side to her. Like the three dancers in the group are the ones that I figure that I say have the cool type. But again, Yua and Lena both fall under cute and cool category. But they don't, and this is why I say they should focus more on their dancing. Because I know it's not just me that thinks some of the cutesy stuff they try to basically force Akaringo into doing, well, not force, but force is the wrong word, but the things they go with, it don't fit. It's like if I was doing gangster rap, I'm too goofy of a guy to pull that off. It would feel very forced, and it would look stupid, and I would sound stupid. Some people might think it works because they're like, oh yeah, you know, he has braids, he's gangster rap, yeah, sure. But I'm like, no, it would feel forced and stupid. I feel like they don't know what to do with her because it's not cutesy. Lucky Lucky Love dance look goofy. When you have someone who can dance as well as she can, and instead of letting her freestyle it and do her dances, you have her do what I call the goofy type of idol choreography dances. Like, I like Hatsune Miku, love Hatsune Miku. I don't think you waste talent as good, dancing talent-wise, as good as Yua's dancing, as good as Lena's dancing, as good as Akari's dancing. I don't think you waste that on goofy Hatsune Miku Love and Joy type dances or whatever that Zuto dance was. I don't understand that. Who came up with the choreography for that? Like, what the? I like the song. I actually love the song, Zuto. I've listened to it again since the last one. Because I was like, is this their hit song? Since it's the one that did a million, I listened to it. So it's good. It doesn't have that viral sound, but it's good. But who came up with that choreography? Like, let's look at DNA. Yeah, some people say it has a kind of K-pop sound to it, and it sounds like The Finest 2.0. Say what you will about it. But let's look at DNA. The dance on that one works so well that you have to bring in two e-girls into it to dance with them, because it doesn't feel like goofy and wacky. It just felt like, oh, this is a good dance. The same thing, you go back to Finest, the dance didn't feel goofy and wacky. It just felt like, okay, this is a good dance to match this kind of song. Why are all of Lucky Lucky's dances wacky and goofy now? They have some really good dancers, and but a lot of people didn't notice. Like I've been saying for the longest that Lena is one of their best dancers, and nobody noticed, and people thought I was just being a fanboy because I analyze like dancing. Like I sit there and just watch videos over and over and analyze it. Like I'm just sitting there on their TikToks and just pointing out like, hey, look how fluid Lena's motions is right here. She clearly has some good dance moves. And then she has like a couple of them where she's dancing solo. I'm like, see, I told you, I knew it. Let that girl dance. But you can't see it. Like Akari has way more solo dance videos than the rest of them. So that's why I think why a lot of people just feel like hands down she's the best dancer, because she puts more of them out there. And they feel like hands down her and Yua are the two best dancers. But the other ones are probably on par with them. Because I know Lena is at least on par with Yua and Akari. But we don't get to see it because they're doing these wacky, goofy dances. Maybe they're trying to keep Lucky Lucky as a sister group and not the clone group. I can see that. Maybe that's what they're afraid of. Maybe they're afraid that they'll be seen as a clone group and they're copying Girls a little too hard. And I don't think they should. It's like, I can think of other labels who have like multiple girl groups. And heck, even at LDH itself, right? Ice Cream and Girls, though they keep doing crossovers, they make very different kind of songs, very different kind of music. Like I feel like I would say Ice Cream's music can be seen as a lot more. They're like noticeably more grown up, noticeably more mature than what Girls is doing. Now lately, Girls has been maturing their sound and having less chulu choo choo type of stuff. But though they're both, you know, under the same label, they have a different sound. So I don't think they should be a clone group, but I think that's what management is thinking. They're probably thinking, well, if we do this, we'll have three groups that are essentially the same. No. That's the one time where I have to give the nod, because I will not give them the nod for too much. That's the one time where I have to give the nod to Hello Project with how they manage their groups. All of their groups have a different feel. Like maybe LDH needs to learn how to do that. Like all of the Hello Project groups have a different feel. Like again, I can turn on the radio right now, and if a Juice song pops on, even if it's like years later and I don't recognize anybody, like I don't know halfway anybody in Juice's name anymore. I mean anybody in Juice, yeah, that group, I don't know any of their names anymore, because Akari Amura is leaving. I think she's about to graduate soon, but a song came on the other day and I'm like, this is Juice, because it had that Juice sound to it. And then I looked at it because I had the app playing on the phone and it shows who the song is. I'm like, yeah, it's Juice. Another one came on like, this Ocha Norma. Looked at it, yep, that's Ocha Norma. Another song came on, that's Anjumu. Look at it, yep, that's Anjumu. Each group has their own distinct sound. You know how they sound when you hear them. They don't really have that as much with LDH. It's like if you notice who it is, it's not because of the sound itself, it's because you might recognize the voices. But they don't really have that distinct sound. Like there's no distinct sound that I can think of. Like if for some reason they made it one of those groups where they keep adding people onto it and made like a rotating group and they still called it Lucky, like if they decide to do that, there is no definitive sound that they have where I could hear it years later and be like, oh yeah, this is Lucky. No, they don't have that. Or that definitive sound like, oh yeah, this is Girls. No, I recognize their voices, but they don't have a certain theme. If that, am I making sense here? You get what I'm saying? Like they don't have that certain theme. Like Morning Musume, they've changed people around. I don't know how much, but whenever there's a Morning Musume song, there's some old songs that are Morning Musume. That's how good they are at doing it. There's some old songs like during the golden era, as they call it, that I never really heard or I forgot if I did hear. And I would be like cleaning or washing dishes or something. I have my radio on playing in the other room, and I have like a little home pod blasting the music. And it'll be a song that I don't recognize, but just because the music, the whole vibe of it, and the sound, I'm like, this is a Hello Project group. And I keep cleaning, and I'll be like, this is Morning Musume. And I'm sweeping or whatever, and I get over there, I glance at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's an old Morning Musume. They have a sound that is uniquely them. And I feel like that's what they have to develop. Luckily, they have to develop a sound that is uniquely them. Because until they develop that identity and that sound that is them, they'll never be like a NiziU. Like NiziU's good at it. NiziU is so good at it. I said it when reviewing and doing reaction videos. I can always tell. I don't know what J.Y. Park is doing, but within the first 3 seconds at the least of any one of their songs, I can tell, oh, I'm gonna love this. Like 3 seconds into Memories, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna love this. Like 3 seconds into Coconut, oh, I'm gonna love this. 3 seconds, the first second of Hartress, that first sound, when you play Hartress, that very first sound, when it starts off, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna love this. Blue Moon, that first note, it kind of makes me think of water for some reason. It's like an underwater sound. Like that first note, I'm like, ooh, yes. They have a sound that is uniquely them. Like even before you even hear their voices, before anyone even come in, like let's say it's one of those songs, some songs they play a lot of music before the vocals actually come in. If NiziU had a song like that, and I was somewhere cleaning and they had a new song, and I wasn't looking at who it was, and it popped up, I'm pretty sure before they even said a single note, I would know it's NiziU. I'd be like, oh yeah, I know who this is. Because they got that sound. It's just, I know what their music sounds like, even when it's something new that I haven't heard. It's like, they have that, it just gives off that NiziU energy. Like, I know it's them before they even hit a note. And they need to develop that. Like that's what makes them so strong. That's what makes them so strong a group. Why they're like the biggest thing out there right now. They're like, I'm gonna check and make sure before I say this, but I do believe they are doing bigger than even Baby Metal right now. Like Baby Metal did fall off. Well, I wouldn't say they fall off. They never really fell off. They just sales start to wane, but they never fell off. They were always big, just not as big as they used to be. It's like the whole Pokemon effect. Pokemon is not. It's still the biggest multimedia franchise in the world, but that hype has died a little bit, but it's still big. So, what makes NiziU that big is they have that sound. You know it's them when you hear it, and I do believe that they're like doing bigger numbers than even Baby Metal now because they have that sound. Baby Metal was the same way though. Baby Metal is easily the same way. Like they're the definition of having a unique sound because you know exactly who it is. Like time something there start up, you know who it is because it has that metal yet idle sound mixed in, so you know it. Like you can give me a Baby Metal song that I've never heard before, and within the first couple of seconds, I'm like, oh, this is Baby Metal. Maybe depending on how it sounds, I might guess that it's passcode because some of their stuff can sound very similar to passcode. But 9 times out of 10, if you give me just a instrumental to a Baby Metal song and take the voices off, I'll still know it's Baby Metal. Same thing with NiziU. You can give me an instrumental and just take the voices off, and I'll be like, this is a NiziU song. They have that sound. They know how to. They figured out their identity and they know that sound. Okay, yeah, modern day. Looking at their reception on their videos, modern day baby metal is like on par with NiziU. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. The fact that they're on par with them. Their numbers are very close to the same, and in some cases, NiziU is beating them out. Like this was 2 weeks ago, and it's at 8.9. The crossover they did with Electric Cowboy. I don't know who that is. What's that? Ratatata, Ratatata. I don't think I heard that one. I checked that out. How did I miss that? Mirror Mirror. Oh, the Mirror Mirror music. That's a teaser. Okay, the official video for Mirror Mirror is only at 1.7. That is low for them. Okay, now they're back. They jump back up to 6 millions. Okay, see, so they're still doing their 6 millions and their double-digit millions. But NiziU is easily just blowing them out the water right now because they figured their thing. They figured out their sound. They figured out their marketing. They figured out their sound. They didn't release like an English version of Asabo. I'm pretty sure they did. Yes, because I remember I was trying to download Asabo on iTunes, and I accidentally downloaded the English version. They have they release English versions of their songs. Good idea. That's something I think more idol groups need to do is release English versions of their songs. It helps out a lot. Like even though I personally will listen to the Japanese version. Like I don't really listen to a lot of songs in English at all. Like that's probably why I didn't like Vichai as much when I was recommended Vichai because I'm like I don't really like English songs like that. I had someone else. I had another regular Kaizen. Kaizen recommended another group that was in English. I'm like I don't want to do it. I don't really listen to a lot of songs in English. I don't know. It's just I just prefer Japanese music now. They released. Yeah, they did release an English version of Asabo. I thought I remember hearing that. I was like, was that a fan adaptation or was that them? All of them speak good enough English to do that too, though. Yeah, they very, very regularly hit like 47, 37 million, 20 million, 17 million. I'm trying to see the most recent thing they did. I'm trying to find the most recent one that they got that hit those numbers. Because I'm seeing stuff from 3 years ago and 2 years ago. Are they still doing those numbers now? I know, shoot, I just went past Memories. I know is doing pretty good. Did I go past Memories? I gotta scroll for how many songs they come out with here. I gotta scroll for days to get to their recent stuff, but all of that stuff is like crossing the million marks easily. Okay, I'm doing this the hard way. Let's go to recent. I'm trying to see Memories and see what Memories is at. But yeah, the floor is open now. Is the time if there's any random questions or any thoughts, concerns you have. While I look this up and find Memories. Where is Memories? Heck, even they're so big that some of their behind the scenes and vlog videos are on par with like girls lucky lucky music videos. And it's just like their vlogs. Okay, the Memories dance performance video is under a million. It's at 4.4 thousand, which is still pretty good though. 3 weeks in. So yeah, Baby Metal is still actually beating them out with recent stuff. It's just it's easy to forget that Baby Metal is as dominant as it is because they're not as dominant as they used to be. Like you're not walking into Target and seeing them anymore, but they're still pretty big. Okay, and the actual Memories dance itself is the memory not dance, but the video itself is at 2.2. So yeah, Baby Metal is still the reigning the reigning champs of the whole J-pop scene. I guess they would fall more under metal. They're still, as of right now, the reigning champs of that scene. I want to see what group, if any, dethrones them from that spot they're in. Because they mastered what I was talking about, where it's not. Well, it was a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that doesn't take away from their talent. And the gimmick was, what if cute idol, but also metal? And it worked. Like they still did. And then on top of that, I think they got better because of that. Like everyone has like these videos showing Sue Metal over the years, how her voice got better and better. And I'm like, yeah, they got better because of that. Like compare Sue's voice in Leave It All Behind to how she sound in The One. If you can't see the growth and the change and just how much better her voice got from The One to Leave It All Behind, I don't know what to tell you because it's leaps and bounds different. Like she really sounds noticeably different in Leave It All Behind. That is like when I first heard that, I'm like, dang, she came a long way. Like she was okay, but now I would argue she's up there. She's pretty high up there as far as like just not just idols, uh but just Japanese female singers in general, not just confined to the idol category. Her voice is up there. Like she's gotten way better. Moa has gotten way better too, but soon noticeably better. So they had a gimmick that didn't hurt them; it ended up helping. So maybe that's what Lucky Lucky needs. If they do a gimmick, I said do that is weird. If they use a gimmick, maybe that's what they need. It's something that doesn't take away from their talent. Because again, it worked for Baby Metal and it still worked for them now. Which was just what if idol but metal, and it works. So yeah, that's all I have for this one. That's all I have for this one. I am still I know I know I am way behind with this Riku thing, and it's crazy because I haven't finished basically. Like I have the audio side down. I just gotta like sync the video to it. But I've been dragging my feet because I've been playing Yakuza. If you're following A Gun Gaming, I've been playing like a Dragon Yakuza, and admittedly I'm dragging my feet. I've been playing that game and not editing like I need to. But the Riku videos audio side is done. I just gotta match. The easy part is just like sync up the videos to it. So yeah, it'll definitely be Water Wednesday returns next week. Also Toa Tuesday. So if we need more Toa, you like Toa? Toa Tuesday returns next week. So next week, very, very packed. We're gonna have Water Wednesday. We're gonna have Toa Tuesday. We're gonna have another idle chatter, and good lord, there's a lot more reaction videos coming out because I'm just sitting on those too. So hope you enjoyed this. If you're here and you like this and you are not subscribed, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week or on the next reaction video. So until next time, this has been Curl Knuckle Net for Curl Knuckle Network saying be you, be true, be human. Catch you guys on the next one. Bibito Kata.